Just because a guy or girl views your stories on Instagram or WhatsApp or Facebook does not necessarily mean that they like you, especially not the way that you might want. Can you tell that I've had some experience with this lately? Well, a lot of dating and relationship coaches say that when a guy or girl really likes you, and I find that from the male perspective, like a lot of the male coaches say this, that that's how men can sometimes show their interest in this day and age initially, to like your posts, like your stories. My last video I was talking about the stories that we tell ourselves. Well, the problem is that I understand that this is true initially. It can be a way that people show their interest, but if that's all that the person is doing, or if that's where they're concentrating their attention on you is on social media or by phone or technology, like not in terms of calling, but just texting or viewing your stories and not saying very much or putting that into more action, that person might show an interest in you, but they're giving you attention in a way that might not be the kind of attention that you ultimately want. And what I mean by that is that they might be intrigued by your look. They might be creating a fantasy of what you are like through social media, even if you guys hang out sometimes together and stuff. If the focus still becomes on viewing your stories instead of calling you up and getting to know you in person in real life instead of through your pictures that could be outdated or just are filtered, or it's not a authentic kind of connection. And I am getting very confused by, there are some guys that view my stories or WhatsApp or Facebook. I'm not even talking just every day, and those of you who know me know that I've been posting a lot every single day recently, just because it serves as a way to lift up my own spirits, like to post encouraging words or quotes or even pictures or videos of things that I've been going through. And so I've been posting a crazy amount. Anybody that is following that or liking it or viewing that, I'm impressed, because it's actually a lot. But I'm talking like some of these guys, they're liking and viewing. It hasn't even been up for like a second and they're like right on it, which again should be an indication of like, oh, they're interested or whatever. But the same guys, if I'm in the same room as them, will prefer to connect it that way than to be consistent about asking me out. Or it's obvious that they're not wanting a reality thing. It's like they would rather focus on like what they're creating in their minds from the pictures, or they're like, this is what I have to look forward to with them. Like, it's not a, there's a saying in writing, show, don't tell. And I think this can be very apropos for dating and relating, because if someone's liking your posts or showing interest through social media or even in person, kind of like being flattering or whatever, but they're not taking it the next step further or wanting ultimately like what you are looking for, it's more like a telling. It's more like just saying words or giving you attention, but there's no intention there. I got that distinction from the dating coach Matthew Hussey. He talks a lot, especially in his book Love Life, about the difference between attention and intention. And if someone's giving you attention without an intention that suits your needs, it's actually, instead of flattering or uplifting, it's actually kind of frustrating and annoying, and I'm kind of getting really annoyed by these guys, because it's like I literally can be in the same room with those guys that are like liking my posts. It feels like 24/7 because I've been posting a lot, and they like it or view it immediately after I post it. But in real life, I could be in the same room with them and they are kind of like off to the distance, and I could say things like, oh, maybe they're shy or but that's what I have to look forward to, is like them not acting on anything. Like the showing part is, rather than telling, is like putting the intention or the interest into action, like actually doing something about it, having the courage to do something about it. And if it's just that they know that they might be looking for something more casual and they're more intrigued by what they've created in their head, the fantasy about us, instead of really doing anything or building on anything real, then I'm okay with them backing off. But then it's like, don't waste your time watching my stories or my Facebooks or my Instagram. Like, I should probably just delete these people, but I'm not trying to, I don't want to be rude. But actually, now that I think about it, that's probably the best way to go about it, because I don't understand. Like, it's kind of bordering on creepy now, because it's like I would have been interested, even some of these guys that I've gone out a few times with or whatever, like it's like we'll have a good time, but then maybe we're not looking for the same thing. But then they're still constantly viewing my stories and liking. It's like weird. And yeah, so I don't agree that if someone is viewing your stories or liking your posts, even if it's all the time, they're not necessarily interested in you, at least not in the way that you might want. And I think, ironically, that in viewing your stories, they're creating their own story in their head of what you're like, and they almost prefer the creating of the stories rather than putting anything into action or going forth with it. And it's exhausting for me. It's like, it's kind of laughable. It makes me very disinterested. Not to say, like, it's very different for some compared to, like, if someone out there is like encouraging my YouTube channel and commenting, and they live far away or I haven't met them or whatever, like, that's different. I really appreciate you guys that are following my channel or commenting or really being supportive of that. But this is different. It's like there's more of an interest in being in the fantasy of whatever this connection is, rather than real life connecting. And I'm not sure what to make of it. It's very interesting to me, and in a weird way, it actually makes me pull my attention back to myself, and also make myself available and open to people that actually want to not just like my posts. Like, it would be great if someone was encouraging that and viewing my stories because they wanted to get to know me, but they're actually wanting to get to know me in real life and take time to get to know me. Because some of these guys approach me about like casual things and casual relationships, but I don't know where they find the time to still like all my posts and all of that. And it's not what I want. So then the liking, it feels like it doesn't feel like a good kind of interest. It feels flaky and time for me to, either get them off of my contacts list, or just like laugh it off and wish them the best if that's the way they don't want to spend their time. I don't know, it's really interesting. I'm curious, any of you out there, like if you are interested in someone, is that something that you do a lot of, is like liking their posts or viewing their stories, and then does it get taken further, or the other side, like do you receive people that are interested in you, watching your stories, liking your posts and that kind of thing, and do you like it, or is it does it end up going anywhere after that? I'm really curious to hear. Let me know, and I will talk to you all soon.